Okay, we're recording.
Okay, great. So this is a role play for educational purposes. And um, I guess I'll say the context real quick is that I'm supervising Emily. This is a 90-day supervision meeting, and we're going to focus on a supervisory session. Okay, and to start. Hi, Emily. It's nice to see you today. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. I'm having a really good day.
That's great. So did you receive my agenda for today's meeting?
I did. I got it. I went on and printed it out so I could follow along with you.
Great. So first, I just really want to check in with you, see how you're feeling in this new position. You're working with young adults, doing therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy with them, ages 18 through 30. And I just want to see how you're feeling about that.
Well, it's different. It's new for me. Prior to this, I had had a different specialty, and so I'm just starting to get used to um, working with people that are a little bit younger than what I'm used to, which is interesting. It's interesting. It's a little exhausting, but overall, I'm excited for the opportunity to be able to like grow in my competencies.
Okay, that's great to hear. So I want to go over just real quick a discussion and talk about like the meeting layout. This agenda is super flexible. So if anything comes up, of course, we can switch things around if need be. So first, we're just going to talk about our work climate and culture, how you're feeling in, our agency, if you're feeling comfortable, if there's anything making you feel uncomfortable. Then we're going to move on to developmental advising. I really want to hear more about your aspirations, your goals for the future, how you see yourself in the future with this company. And then looking at some feedback support, just looking, to see if there's any challenges or issues that you're dealing with, your comfort with the job. I know you just talked about how it's a little bit new, so we can dive into that a little bit more. And then we'll wrap up with questions, any concerns that you have, and setting up our next supervision meeting. Does that all sound okay?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, awesome. So we'll just dive right into work climate and culture. So first, I just want to find out your comfort level with the staff, who you're working well with, if there are any issues with other staff.
Well, right now, just because we're working remotely the whole time, I'm not having as much interaction as I'm used to. Where I was working before, I'd been there for a few years, so I knew everyone, and now I'm kind of the new kid on the block. So I'm just really getting used to kind of feeling it out. I mean, I'm being included in the group emails, and I'm on the staff meeting, but I am not quite feeling the same connection that I felt before, but I also think that might come with time.
Okay. Do you think that you might benefit if we did some more Zoom staff meetings, checking in a little bit more often with each other?
I mean, as a new person, my thought really was is do y'all have anything that you do where it's not really structured, where staff can just, I don't know, say hello if they want to and get to know each other a little bit to develop some, levels of comfort? I just wondering.
We've not really worked on that yet, but it's something that we have discussed before because a lot of our staff, with the remote, working remotely from home, they're feeling very distant from each other. So, and especially with you coming in as a new employee, I can see how you feel even more distant because you've not been able to meet them in person, really have that interaction with them. So that's definitely something I will bring up in our next staff meeting. Maybe do like a coffee hour or something like that, where it's just very relaxed, just for everybody to discuss and talk with each other about, just how their day's going, show their pets, something like that.
Yeah, that would be kind of nice. I mean, I just keep thinking like, who are the people that I'm working with? And it might be easier to approach them if I know who they are a little bit.
Right. I completely understand. And I appreciate you bringing that up. Do you feel that your beliefs and values that you have align with our agency beliefs and values?
I do. I've wanted to work with younger adults for a while, which was part of the reason that I switched from focusing just on substance use and looked more towards working with people who had generalized issues. So it's actually been really nice to feel like I'm working with people that are more focused on just generalized mental health instead of one specific area of mental health.
Okay, that's great. We love to hear that. And so I'm just going to move into the next part of this, as long as you don't have any questions. I think we'll definitely look at adding that into our next staff meeting about just a more relaxed, you know, Zoom meeting, video chat somehow to figure that out so everyone can really get to know each other and feel less distant. So next, I really like to talk to you about, your aspirations, goals, your new employee here. Is there somewhere you see yourself being rather than just doing therapy with younger adults? Is there somewhere else in the company you'd like to end up eventually?
Honestly, like I wish I could tell you that I thought about that already, but switching jobs was a big deal. I knew I really wanted to do therapy. I had not actually had the opportunity to practice that. So personally, at this time, like my biggest goal is just to become very well versed at doing the therapy with the individuals right now, and building that rapport with the people I'm working with and actually having some impact on a younger generation. Um, Eventually, I would see myself doing some other things. I'd like to be able to provide some supervision one day and help the next person. Um, and that's something I've thought about doing for a long time. So we might be able to talk about that as a goal. I'm just not really ready to dive into it just yet. I don't know that I'm that's where I'm at.
Okay. And I perfectly understand that. Speaking to that and wanting to focus more on therapy, are there any trainings you might be interested in doing? Would you like to explore some trainings that, we're looking into? Everything is remote right now, of course, so we can try and find some webinars if you'd like, just to help you with that and maybe dive into some other types of therapy if you'd be interested.
Oh, I really do need to get some CEUs so that I can
Okay.
continue my licensure. One of the ones that I was really interested in is finding some CEUs on actually working with younger adults, specifically the 18 to 25 population. I have more experience with 25 and up, so the 25 to 30, I don't seem to be having as much difficulty with. But that young adult, that 18 to 25, I don't know if y'all have anything that you already have on a list, but some webinars that FCE on how to handle that emerging adulthood would be great.
Okay. Yeah, we have a list of ones from before the pandemic and everything that you could, attend trainings in person. So we'll work on a list of current ones that, we can do online, get you signed up for some trainings. And we can talk about that, look at your schedule and see what will fit in best for that, if that works for you.
Yeah, that sounds really, really good. I'm willing to do it, you know, anytime that I can fit it in. And I like the shorter ones. If you find some that aren't 6 hours sitting at a computer, I tend
Right.
to do that.
Okay, we can definitely look into that for you then. That way you can, brush up on those skills and get your CEUs for licensure. And speaking of licensure, education wise, are you looking at getting your LCSW or are you looking at something further than that even in
So
terms of education?
right now, I'm just focused on finishing the hours to do my LCSW. Moving forward, I have considered getting a doctorate in social work.
Okay.
Really like research. Um, I like learning about all sorts of different life cycles, ages, all of that. So there are some ideas there, but I'm just really okay with where I'm at. So
Okay, that's awesome. And how is supervision going for your LCSW?
right now, it seems to be great. I'm sitting in a group every week, and I'm having an individual session through the person that y'all provided, and we do doing an hour a week. So,
Okay.
um, I mean, it seems to be going really well. I guess I didn't really know what to expect of it, and with only doing this for 90 days, I have limited knowledge on what I guess I should be expecting out of it. But I'm getting a lot of great feedback. We're doing some role plays, and she's using a lot of therapeutic techniques that I can see that I can utilize as well. So I really like that. And then the group sessions are going well. there's that, that's the one time that I really get to spend time outside of staff meetings with my coworkers right now. So that's been beneficial. But like I was saying earlier, I'd like to see us not in just a strict work environments. We could build some relationships, but I appreciate their feedback because so many of my coworkers at this point have had years of experience, and I'm really gaining a lot of knowledge from that.
Okay, awesome. Well, it sounds like it's going really well. Even with you just being, 90 days into this job here, you're doing great. So, and from what I've heard from others, you're doing great working with your clients and from, the supervisor we provided you with for your LCSW. They said that you're doing great as well. So just keep up the good work. I know it's hard during the pandemic and everything, but everything's looking really well right now.
Okay.
Okay. Um, and then do you have any questions, with anything that we just talked about, in terms of your LCSW maybe? Are you worried about hours for supervision? Are you feeling pretty good there?
No, right now I feel like I'm right on track. I might actually be a little bit ahead, which is kind of where my comfort zone is in
Okay.
having to, having just a little extra in case something comes up. So
Right.
no, I'm really comfortable. I'm in a good spot right now. So I don't have any questions. I feel like they're really being answered on a routine basis through our other, like our staff meetings and things like that.
Okay. Awesome. That's great to hear. So next, let's talk a little bit about your comfort with your job. I know we're only at the 90-day point. Just seeing how comfortable you are working with your clients. Have there been any challenges or issues that you've noticed coming up?
The only real challenge I'm having is really working with that emerging adult age, like we were just talking about. Just because my experience up until this point had not been the younger adults, it's been more of the 25 and older. So that has been a new experience. And maybe it's not even, it's definitely not an issue, but it is kind of a challenge.
Right.
Um, Other than that, no, I feel like I have a good flow. I see that the CBT is really most of the clients that I'm working with had already been with another therapist prior to working with me. So they kind of understood CBT already coming in. I didn't have to do a lot of explanation of that process like I would do with a brand new client. So that was nice that y'all provided me with existing clients to start out with who had a little bit of knowledge moving forward. So I don't know, maybe when we have a follow-up, it'll be interesting once I start taking on newer clients that don't have the experience, um, how that goes.
Okay. Well, and I would say in terms of those that are just emerging as adults, that definitely the 18 to 20 range right there. That can be difficult. So if you'd be interested, we can maybe look at even at, some trainings they're dealing with maybe teenagers more so because they still are kind of in that mindset. Some of them are going off to college at
Mhm.
18, some may still even be in high school or just getting ready to graduate. So if that's something you're interested in, we can definitely do that.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be great.
Okay. And then I'd also encourage you to reach out to some of your fellow employees, even though I know it's a little bit scary right now, not really knowing them too well, but there are some that do work with children and teenagers, and they may be able to offer some advice in those areas that you're finding to be challenging.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, great. Um, and aside from that, I'll go ahead and wrap up. Are there any questions or concerns you have?
No, nothing right now. I'm like I said, I'm just in a really good place right now. It seems to be progressing at a comfortable rate, and I'm not having any major issues. So
Okay, that's great. Well, I want to go ahead and set up our next supervision meeting. So I'm actually going to set up two different supervision meetings. So I want to set up first. We're going to start doing regular monthly meetings of supervision if you're comfortable with that.
yeah,
I'd like to do them on the 15th of each month. So our next one will be March 15th. Is that okay?
yes, that'll work.
Okay. And then I also want to just set up a 6-month supervision meeting. It's kind of basically be like this, just covering how you're feeling with everything, if there's anything you needing, just a really basic check in with you to see how things are going. Does that sound okay?
Yes, that's one day.
Okay, that date will be on Wednesday, August 25th. Are you available for a meeting at that time?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. Well, it was nice speaking with you today, Emily. I look forward to hearing every great thing that you're doing because everything I've heard so far, you're doing an amazing job. So we really appreciate having you with our team.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying being here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.